Brother, I swear to God, I see these bitches come on the tube, and in 2 days they're popping off. 2! The hell? I've been slaving, man, for years. Okay, yeah, okay, maybe it's because I also look like this. These girls, they're fine. To be fair. You know, I was thinking yesterday, you get to this point where you're like, authenticity for what, man? Like, do people actually... You just doubt everything. You know? People are like, believe in yourself. Yeah. Easier to do that in the beginning, in the early stages. You know, that's what it is. And I'm hitting that wall in like... Interesting, though. Because yesterday I said to my Spanish teacher at the end, I was like, listen, dude. Not like that, but like, you know, hola. What can I do to sort of increase the conversion rate of when I converse? Because there are things I want to say. I found my nail sauce right here because it's like a bit uneven and chipped yesterday. Multitask. I said, what can I do? Because I'm like, should I go in with the tenses first? Should I learn the tenses first? Should I study more vocabulary? Like, how can I learn to just communicate back better besides just speaking? Because when I'm talking with him, we'll throw myself in the deep end. I always feel really bad. I'm like, I feel like I'm just wasting your time. Like, I'm talking at 2 miles per hour. But he's like, no, that's like, he's the sweetest. Anyway, that's a topic for another time. And I was like, no, what do I do? And he's like, no, just keep doing this. Just practice. So I was like, okay, so basically just this. Yeah. And that's what the thing is. That's what it is. Follow the formula. Follow the formula. Even Layla said it, right? Her thing, obviously, she says, like, fuck your mood, follow the plan, right? Which I fucking love, by the way. I really want it, like, a poster. Like, she has it on Instagram. She has a poster. I want that in my room because I think it's gonna... She's, like, my #1 role model in, like, business and, like, vibe of who I want. Oh, my God, amazing. I have other role models as well, like, a couple. But, like, I've never been, like, I've never seen someone who's, like, that much me, if that makes sense. I know you probably wouldn't think that looking at me, fair enough, but... it is true. But she said it as well, like how I think when she was working with a trainer back in the day, she was like, okay, like I'm not seeing results, like what do we do? And the trainer's like, just keep going. Just keep going. And I'm like, that's what it is. Like, don't try and change the... Don't. You're following it for a reason. Like, is it the same though with authenticity? I mean, authenticity inherently will evolve because it's authentic. Duh. You're not going to be the same your whole fucking life. You just wonder sometimes, you know. That's what it is. You keep going, you keep doing the right thing, or you keep doing the right thing, or like being the bigger person, or even when no one's watching, that part too. Like, no one's watching. You get nothing for it, really. At least nothing in the moment. Yeah, and then you see everyone else who does compromise. Yeah, they compromise on ethics, their character, their integrity, and they make it. They copycat. Like, they lose themselves, or they're just another one of everyone in a way. And it works. And then you wonder, you know, maybe that's what I should be doing. No, I can't. I just can't. I might maybe do like a video here and there, but me, my. If there's anything myself and especially my parents know, it's that I just do my thing. Whether it works or it doesn't, I just keep doing my thing. Whether it's offensive or irritating or annoying or rebellious or not Indian enough or not girl enough or not woman enough, I will keep doing my thing. Marmite me. That's my Marmite factor. Now I'm rambling. I'm gonna go. I guess the value of integrity is tested with time. Those decisions that you make in the early days, especially when no one's watching, those are the decisions that will save you later down the line. Because not only is your foundation stable in terms of the tangible thing you are building, it is also stable in the intangible. So tangible could be like the business that you build. Intangible could be in the relationships that you form with your employees or your colleagues. But also the foundation you have with yourself. Character does, prevail? No, that's my train of thought. But simply put, integrity won't necessarily pay you on day one. It may not even pay you on day 100. But it's one of those things that will pay you later down the line, exponentially. And I don't just mean financially. At least that's what I'd like to believe. I wouldn't want to live the alternate way. And I think adjacent to that, if you will, when I think of her, her, my own Layla version of self, there's a way that she conducts herself, right? And she's very cool. And in a way, I think she's probably 20 years older than me. I don't know if I could be her just yet, just saying, she's a little mature. Very rich and very cool. Like, just the vibe. Like, oh, wow, yeah, intimidating, but oh my god, who's she? I want to know her. Like, that's the vibe. But then everyone was going to know me anyway because I'm on, socials, and I just post everything over me. But I see her traits, and I pray to God for that. And God is giving that to me, but in the way that I know it will stick. Simply put, if you're like, God, give me patience, God is going to put you in situations where your patience is tested. Right? So similarly, her traits. She's reliable. She's a woman of her word. Many things. Force to be reckoned with. It's almost embarrassing to say because to post this is like, okay, I really gotta do it now. Either way though, this is the thing. Whether I succeed or I don't, I have to live with it. So if I embarrass myself, that's on me. I embarrassed myself, Other people might get the entertainment from like the Schadenfreude thing, like, see you bad. Fine, enjoy, have a good time. You clearly don't have much of a life, but if that makes you happy to see me fail. But then, if I do that as well, like, I have to live with it. I'm the one that's going to suffer and struggle the most because I'm living with the fact that I have failed, and, that's embarrassing. But it is what it is, so... Okay, now we're really rambling. I'm gonna go. But I'm just gonna thank God. I'm gonna keep thanking God for where I am now. And trust that it's gonna make sense one day. Because looking back on things, actually, I like to talk about two concepts before I go. Two concepts. I don't know if I mentioned it on my channels before. But, is that a panty liner? Yeah, guys, that's a I brought us, but never mind. Whatever. We're women. We're cool people. We're human beings. We understand. It's clean, but just to clarify, never mind. I need to organize. There's a lot going on. And actually, I want to get a shelf here. I'm in conversation with my father regarding that because it's blank, and I don't want to leave it blank, but I didn't know what to put. I wanted a Moroccan lamp. Anyway, that's the other series. So maybe I should. No, the shelves. Two concepts. Number one, Do I remember the second one? 2, yes, I do. Number 1, in relation to what I was saying, we are living in the dots. We are living in the dots. What does that mean? Steve had that quote, right? Steve Jobs. Something about da-da-da-da-da. When you're going through it, you don't know, and when you look back, you can connect the dots. We're living in the dots. If it's falling apart, if it wants to fall apart, let it fall apart. It's not going to make sense right now. Don't look for that to give you confidence. Don't look for that to be an anchor. It's not going to be it. Become your own anchor. Become confident in your ability to handle it. And if you're not confident in your ability to handle it, that's why it is happening, because it is going to teach you how to rely on yourself. We're living in the dots. Don't expect to make sense of it right now. You don't need to. That is not your role. Your only role is to make the best of what is happening. To keep moving, put one foot in front of the other, and trust that it will make sense. That's been my process the past 2 years since the other concept I'm going to talk about. Catalyst. Sometimes events occur in our lives that don't make any sense at all. It's when life blows up in your face, quite honestly. I like to call those events catalysts. Usually, I feel, when these things happen, it's because something needs to be shaken up. A little bit. There's a level of stagnation going on in your life. And God's like, we are done. No more. Because there is a person I want you to become. And you're not going to become them on your own, of your own accord. Evidently. So let's shake things up. Let's trip you up. Let's smack you in the face a little bit. Get you a little battered and bruised. So you can wake up and realize, oh, self-care. Maybe I should watch where I'm going. Maybe I shouldn't go strolling along at midnight o'clock when I can't see things and I'm short-sighted. You know what I mean? Living in the dots and catalysts. Catalysts occur for us to awaken. What is this? What am I doing? Am I intentional? What is my day-to-day? I could give examples, but I think that's just going to get a little personal. And that's too personal about not just me, about an event that I observed in one of my friends' lives. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to dish the dirt like that. Don't do that. Not without their consent, at least. But it might resonate with you. So where I am right now, I wouldn't call this a catalyst. In fact, I wouldn't even necessarily call it living in the dots. I mean, yes, we're always living in the dots, in a way. You know, it's that thing of when you see a podcast, you listen to a podcast, and the interviewer asks the guest, you know, did you always know, or did you always, and the guest is either, you know, I mean, it could go a few ways, but usually it's like, yeah, I always had an inkling, I had a feeling that I was somewhat on the right path, but, you know, I didn't know how it would unfold, or I knew where I wanted to be, I just didn't know how I was going to get there, or this setback happened and I thought this was going to be the thing, but I just sort of ended up just to the side of that, but in a way that links back to my childhood, like, or, yeah, like, there's a series of events which led them to become the person that is being interviewed. We're all living in the dots. Some of us are just more aware of it. So I don't really question, like, you know, where I am right now, the job that I have. And here's the thing. Now we're getting more into conversation. I'm sorry, my throat. This is how cold it is in the damn house. Getting more into karma, fate, destiny. I mentioned this in I think my karma video on my main channel. I feel we all have, like, but we all have a written destiny of the lessons that we're meant to compile within this life. And the format in which it's done, that is up to you. So if we just look at very simple terms, say you're rich, you're poor. Whether you're rich or poor in this life, you will be set to learn the same lessons, the same emotional, deep, intrinsic lessons that you're set to learn, those will be learned. Whether you choose path A or path B. That's what I personally believe. Now, what was I saying? Sugar Plum Fairy. This is what happens when you ramble. This is what happens when you ramble. Meaning. You can apply meaning to anything. And I'm going to get into this in my LOA series on my main. You could say, oh, that thing that happened, it was the worst, but it made me who I am. People say this, right? If you want to say that, that's fine. I'm not. Actually, you know what? Yes and no. Sometimes I say that. There's a certain childhood things that happened with your girl, and if it wasn't for those things, I wouldn't be who I am today. So, in a way, I give thanks. But then again, I don't give thanks to I give thanks to God. I give thanks to the universe. I don't really give thanks to the people and the... You know what I mean? You don't need to be thanked. You need to fuck off. But anyway, that aside, I feel it's more... Because of these things occurring, I became who I am of my own accord. I took matters into my own hands and said, how am I going to make the best out of this? So bringing this back to where we are today, the job that I do is not a soul job. It's not like, yes, this is my destiny. This is where I'm meant to be. But I know there's so much good in it. There's so much good in my job. It is a blessing in so many ways. This is a ashirwad from Dios, right? Pardon me. Because the job, the way everything unfolded, like I can say it now a year on, I made my application to this job about a year ago. Bada bing, bada boom, baby. For real. I started working in customer service when I was 17. I started working when I was 15. Kind of 14. Contracted at 16. Official customer service, 17. Worked in it for 5 years. Took a year off. Then came back to it. So I've done now about 7-8 years customer service, right? But anyway, prior to this job, about 7 years, let's just say. Develop the skills. Last year, we could do a story time when I made it a bit more, yeah? Everything blew up in my face. The fact that I've actually never... Because this is now in the past now. I can kind of be like, oh yeah, this is kind of the past. We'll get there. I'll tell you guys at some point. Yeah, when I made it a little more. Everything blew up in my face. Catalyst. It's horrible. Yeah, very difficult, very horrible year. Very horrible year. Probably one of the most horrible years of my whole life. But one of the most powerfully intense, transformative times. It woke me up. This job suddenly appeared when I had nothing. Not nothing, and I knew this. I always say, like, I lost everything, but I didn't lose everything. I lost the everything that I had to look forward to. The 3D everything. I didn't lose everything. Let me put it this way. There was a test. There were many things, but there was a test. Summertime, let's just say. And I knew there were 2 things. 2 outcomes. Outcome number 1 is what I was actually wanting. It's what I was striving for. It was what made sense. It's what I was terrified of losing. Option number 2. I wasn't terrified of losing, but it terrified me. But part of me wanted it, craved it, needed it, and almost even knew it was going to happen. Let me stop this and make sure it's saving. So option number 2 occurs. That outcome. I have nothing. It's almost like a soul whisper to God. Because I wanted to see who I would become. If I built myself up from scratch. If I broke expectation. There was a part of me that wanted to prove my parents wrong too. You cannot succeed in this world without a degree. You cannot do well without a degree. Watch me. More specifically, you can't get a job, like a good one. Maybe, depends on the field. I'm not saying they're entirely wrong. But I was like, what if I stopped playing life to their narrative? What if everything went tits up? Just to be clear, nothing was intentional here. I'm giving a lot away right now. We'll get into the tea, we'll get into the juice later down the line. But what if that wasn't true? What if it wasn't even that? Like, the primary reason wasn't to disprove anybody. It was just, what if I'm right? What if I'm right about this? What if I can build myself up from 0 to flipping 100 in the way that I choose to do so? Anyway, that nonsense aside, ego shit aside, a lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff went down. And this job came about. My dear father, he said to me, you useless thing. You still have some potential. Not literally, I'm just being hyperbole, that. You've got years of customer service experience. So this job has been a blessing. I'll be honest, I thought, first of all, I was very overwhelmed. I was like, oh, everything's gone crazy this year, just give me a second. Then, I was like, okay, worst case scenario, I'll get something on my CV. Second of all, it'll give my parents some peace. They could do with it. And then third of all, in turn, they'll give me peace. That was it. That was my reasoning. That was it. Did I mention worst case, I guess? Yeah. That was it. I'm telling you. Go for it. You know when it's meant to be, everything just seamlessly falls into place, like butter, bing, bang, bosh, bush, smooth? I did not have that. Can I just be clear? I'd been trying to stick a square peg into a round hole for coming up to 10 years at this point. And now all of a sudden, after this catalyst and crazy year has occurred, you want to tell me that this was all I needed to do? What? God wanted it. God wanted it. Smooth sailing. Chalo fir. Ended up there. Kaam shuru ho gaya. Blessed. What a fucking year. God's plan. He's got me, man. He's got me good. He has had me. Like, I am grateful. Man. Confidence. Money to invest in self. Parent peace. Independence. Exposure. Being loved and appreciated for who I am. My skills finally matching the environment, or skills and strengths finally matching the environment in which I am in, being appropriately tested. Meeting people like me. Whether it's culturally or with the same work ethic, if not better. People that are into leadership like me and that actually know how to lead. People who've seen more of the world. I live in abundance because of this job. And I did send a thing to my dad. I don't know if I'll share it. Let me see. Don't get me wrong. Struggle can be real, whether it's in the job, whether it's in the side things of the job, whether it's, outside of my job, which you guys would know if you see my shorts. And my life it's not perfect. Mostly because I don't make it perfect. Besides that, I have everything I need. It's just... I said to him, Mm. Okay, I'm not gonna read all of the little details just for protection, but I'll share what I sent my dad. Hello, Daddy G. I just wanted to say something I've been meaning to say for a while, but hadn't quite found the right words for. Thank you for encouraging me to join this job. No, it's not my dream career, at least not yet, but it has given me so much confidence in myself, reminded me of what I am capable of, because it has tested me and shown me how I am not stupid, I was just in the wrong environment for my strengths. It has shown me that I can be appreciated and valued for who I am, that I am not delusional in my idea of what professionalism and standards look like, that I am smart and kind and at times brilliant enough to help a fair few people out. After years of feeling like a failure, trying to be what I thought you and Mom wanted me to be, I can finally say I experience bliss on a day-to-day basis. It is not perfect. I have my down days and I'm incredibly determined to do more and be more, both for you and Mom and for myself. But to be thriving, not stagnating, and happy to be alive is such a huge blessing. If you had told my year ago self that I would be the woman I am and am becoming today, she wouldn't have believed you. This will be the thing that I look back on forever grateful no matter where life takes me. The way you talk about your dad encouraging you to join your company, this will be my equivalent that I one day tell my children. Despite your somewhat irritating methods at times, I am so grateful to have a dad that has my back 100% since day one. Any success of mine I hugely owe to you and Mom, and I just want to thank you for always believing in me, the best in me, even when I couldn't. You are the wind beneath my wings. Now, I don't share that to flex. I mean, obviously, I'm so grateful for my dad. That is 100% true, and I think if you have a good dad, you have a good mom, you fucking appreciate them, even if they're not imperfect. Because that can be rare, and it's also very special, and it doesn't come easy. It's a daily grind. Not that we would know the half of it, unless we're parents ourselves, of course. But it's to express the extent. Funny when photo booth does that. But yeah. If you feel like you can't, you don't know where you are, you don't know what you're doing, you don't need to know. It will make sense. And now being in a position, I mean, if you went back a year ago, I would have still been like, okay, I'm waiting for it to make sense. Not like I'm sat there, Hanji, hello, answers. No. I always say through action find answers, so I was still taking action towards the things that I cared about. And just, again, trusting one day it'll make sense, one day it'll make sense, one day it'll make sense. And now, today is partially one day. I can connect. I can look back and I can connect. And I think, and this ties into it as well, this is one of the things I love to live by, which is that life is what you make of it. Life is how you do the best with what you have. You can't, who cares if someone was born into a certain position? Okay, but do they make the best of it? Did you make the best of it? Like, stop focusing on them. What have you got to work with in front of you? Work with that, right? I feel I wasted almost 5-6 years of my life. And I feel so indebted to myself and my parents. And a lot of people don't get it. I think if perhaps you're somebody who has just been an idiot, then you'll get it. Or if you're someone who has been an addict, you'll get it. That feeling of these people have done nothing really. They've been imperfect, but they've loved me. And what have I done? And it doesn't come from a thing of they've told me I owe them. It comes from a place of it's the right thing to do. I gotta start doing right by them. I gotta start doing right by myself because that sucked. That shit sucked. I don't want to go back to that. And so some of it has started to fall into place and make sense. Other facets of it are still like the story is yet to come, and I'm okay with that. So all I can do, I can't dwell. I don't want to dwell. I did that when I was younger. And I don't want to hyperfixate on the future because that keeps me from where I am today. And that future will just, that goalpost will just move further and further and further, because if it takes you X amount of time to get there, but you're not even doing action today, well then, it's never becoming x minus 1. It's just going to stay x because you did nothing today. So I don't want to hyperfixate on the future. But forgot my train of thought again. That's good. That's good. It will make sense. That's all I really have to say. So even for me, you see me doubting myself. It's a moment. That doubt's there. Is it gonna stop me? No. Because what do I do? What do I say, okay, well then, maybe I am wrong. Just change everything about myself because everyone will then like me. Yeah, but I never wanted to be for everyone. I just wanted to be for myself and have people that like me for me. So what am I doing? Like why? Long game. Long game. That's what this video is about. Long game. Play the long game. Bigger picture. That's it. I've rambled enough and I have things to do. Wouldn't believe it because sis can talk, but this avocado has to love and leave you. Wherever you are. Cheerio, darling. Have a beautiful day. Comment stuff. Let's talk.